Welcome to Marissa's Cucina. I am Marissa. Today we are making Easter bread. The first step for this recipe is to make the dough. If you have already done the dough, you can continue with me. If not, pause this video and go to Lessons from Nonna to know how to make the recipe. I have already made the bread dough here. After the dough has been made, we're going to braid the dough and we're going to put a cooked boiled egg that is colored without using food coloring. After that, we will let it rise, and when it rises for about an hour, we will definitely put it in the oven to cook. The dough has already risen for about an hour, but it has to rise another hour. But before we do that, we're going to get the dough ready for the eggs. It's called Easter bread with eggs. It looks like a basket when we're done. I'm just forming the dough because I want to make a basket. My grandma used to give me a piece of dough and I used to make my own little tiny basket, but she used to make these bigger ones. So I'm excited I get to make the bigger ones now. But when I was younger, I was given a little piece of dough and I made a little basket. But now, today we're making the larger basket. We're getting ready to braid the dough. This is Easter bread braided. Once we put the openings, you could put one egg in here, one egg in here, and one egg in here. And I'm going to put this on a cookie sheet that has been like sprayed with Pam. Just make sure the cookie sheet is clean and make sure that it's free from dust. Okay, once I did that, I'm going to spray it, and then butter flavor is fine. You could use Crisco, you could use, if you don't have any of these, you could use a little bit of oil to cover the bottom of the cookie sheet. I'm using this spray. And then once you spray it, I'm just going to take my bread dough. The recipe is on the website, and I'm going to transfer it to here. And you could do it this way. There's more space. You could put it, as long as it fits into the cookie sheet. And one egg is going to go in here. I'm making a hole to put one egg in here, and I'm going to make it another opening for here. Every town and every region and every place in Italy has their own version of this, and this is from where my mother and my grandmother come from. I have 3 eggs. You can use 1 egg, you could use 2 or 3. The food coloring I do not use because once it gets into the dough, you don't want to eat food coloring. So my grandma taught me Lessons from Nonna. You could see all this on my website, www.lessonsfromnonna. And I use the skins of onions to color the eggs. If you use less skins, it'll turn yellowish. If you turn the color into more skin, it'll become orange to burgundy. So this is how much I put in. It's not measured. 3 boiled eggs. They're not boiled yet. We put water, immerse the raw eggs in the water. And I need to add a little more water, I can. They need to be covered. There's still some white showing. And we're going to color these eggs and then we'll add them to the dough. It's on medium flame so that we can boil them. Once they're cold and colored and boiled, we'll put them in the dough. Okay, now I'm checking with a spoon and removing the onion skids to the side because it's the water's starting to boil and the coloring is starting to mix in the water, and it's going to go easily onto the boiling eggs. And I'm just showing you the process here. We're almost at the end of this. It just has to boil. Once it starts boiling, you have to let it boil for about, a short time. I would say at least 5 minutes, but because this egg will go into the dough when it's cooled, and it's going to cook in the oven the rest of the way. going to take the eggs out. Don't worry if they're not fully cooked, because they will cook in the oven with the dough. The idea is, when it's fully cooked, is to have the boiled egg with a piece of the bread for breakfast, or for a snack, or for lunch. If you could see, I wanted to show you that there's different levels of the coloring. This is spotted. That's a cool one. There you go. That's like a little bit of orangish or pink. Now we put this aside and we go to the next step. We're at the last step of the recipe for baking the Easter braided bread with non-food coloring. I am whisking 1 egg. But before I finish whisking, turn the oven to bake 350 degrees. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. The bread has already risen for 1 hour. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add the egg in the center of the bread, like this. The openings are filled in, but I'm just reopening them slightly. And now you can have 3 eggs. If you want to, you can put 1, you could put 2. I chose 3. With this little tool I have, the brush, I'm going to cover the top of the bread in order to give it color. You can also add sesame seeds on top, but I don't want to at this time. I'm just going to brush the bread. The idea is for you to have this on Easter morning, Palm Sunday. You can make this on Palm Sunday, but on Easter morning, you can go ahead and cut some of the bread and take an egg out and peel it and then eat it. And welcome spring. The next step is to put the bread in the oven, and it'll cook for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on your oven, depending on, every oven varies depending on your oven, and make sure that it is thoroughly golden brown on top. And it's going to get larger, and it's going to be ready to eat in about an hour. It's been about an hour, and if you would like to take a peek, the reason why it's crispy and crunchy on top, it's because of the egg I brushed on top. You look underneath and you want it to be golden brown. I think it's there. We're trying to show you that it's cooked, because I looked inside and the bread is cooked. So I peeked inside, and that's how I know it's time to take it out. We cooked it between 45 minutes to about an hour, and I'm going to leave it here to cool. And here is your Easter bread. Manja!